everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am in Dollar Tree's parking lot. I did a Dollar Tree haul. I have not been to Dollar Tree since Nancy started doing my mother's Dollar Tree shopping, I don't know, a couple months ago. So I had enough of a list for things that I needed, and I thought, since Nancy is with my mother today, I would go out and get a couple of errands done. I needed to go to the bank to get something notarized. Got that done, and I am here at Dollar Tree, and I got that done. I wasn't 100% successful in getting what I wanted, but I got some stuff, and I'm going to show you. I feel like a Dollar Tree haul. I can't get in trouble doing that, right? Because I keep putting my foot in my mouth in many, many ways lately, and that's just the way it is with me. So let's just look at what I got. Some tape for me for the next fabric frenzy. Some liquid plumber for my always often clogged sink. Now, some of you might think it's because of all the meat grease she puts down her drain. Once upon a time, and I'm going to say I know for a fact, it was before the year 2011, my sink was running perfectly fine. We've never had an issue with the sink not draining right. And I had my handyman at the time come over and install a new kitchen faucet for me. And somehow during that process, my sink got clogged. Like the next day, it was hardly draining. So I thought, he obviously dropped something or did something. I mean, something wasn't right. Called him, he came over, checked things out. I don't see an issue. Oh, it's, you know, draining fine now. And ever since then, years ago, I've had to have a plunger next to me and have to constantly plunge the sink because something is obviously blocking the flow of the water. I have used some Drano. It doesn't really help, but I'm going to try again because now I'm thinking if there is something there blocking, the grease of my meat cooking might be backing up a little bit. I did get another plumber come, and I wanted him to do the old snake thing, and you know, he just like poured some incredibly strong stuff in there that I thought was going to make us both pass out, and that worked for like 3 days. Something is obviously not right. And because I don't like to deal with it and make calls, and I made a call, two calls. I got the original guy in, and then I got another guy in, and neither one of them solved the problem. So I am stuck with forever plunging my sink. Sucks. Big time. But anyway, that was my nice little story that I thought I would share with you because I feel you have nothing better to do than to listen to my bullshit. All right, next, my mother loves little cough drops like this, the mentholated. And look, they have the big glass clear thingies. So I'm gonna try to do another video like that because that video was very successful for me. Doesn't mean the next one will be, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I hope I can get around to doing it. I might try something different, not just paper on the back, whatever. Oh, and then I looked for the little dominoes that I fell in love with in Memphis that Skylar and I got, but they didn't have any. I'm going to have to ask Derek, go to Dollar Tree with Skylar, and if they have those, buy like 2 or 3 more. I'd like her to have 2 sets in Memphis, and I'd like 2 sets here. But I did find this. I have no clue, never heard of it. Pass Play. The game of left, center, right. I don't even care what the game is, but Skylar and I love dice of any kind, and you can see they say left, center, right. These little things, I don't know, I don't care. It's for the dice, and we love to make up our own games. And I just see so much potential with left, center, right. I'm sure, you know, there's an actual game, but I'm thinking that we can do things like put cards on the table and roll the dice, and if it says left, center, or right, we can move our little trinket wherever. Oh, we just love to make up games. So there's that. And then we needed ant traps because the ants are starting to come in, so I got 3 boxes of these. There's 2 ant traps in each. And then I got some makeup for me. I needed a face powder. What the hell? All of a sudden we're having a windstorm? Jeez. I'm not big on powder, but lately I have started to fall in love with the various foundations at Dollar Tree. Not so much this one, because it's like white. It shows a tint, but it comes out white. But I still like it. I'm starting to like the feel of that. And I like this foundation, but in a light color, and they only had dark, but it's okay, because I mix these two together in my hand, and I can get whatever shade I feel like at the moment. But because these have some oil in them, they're not like just water-based, I have come accustomed to putting a little bit of pow powder on my face, but I actually have been just using regular talcum powder, and I thought, okay, I'll just use one of these. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to like it as much because it's tinted. I like just the translucent, or is that what you even call powder? I don't think so. I just liked the regular powder. But for $1, I got one. I'm going to give it a try. Please don't tell me about, I deserve better makeup. You know I don't give a shit about stuff like that. I'm just having fun. I'm like a kid. I hope I got both my toothpastes. I got my sensitive toothpaste. Everything here at this store is $1. I know there are Dollar Trees that are not $1. They're $1.25 or $1.50. I don't know if there's any like that in the United States. I know for sure outside of this country, somebody has told me that theirs is like $1.50, but I don't know if it's still called Dollar Tree. But I do think there are some in this country. If your Dollar Tree doesn't sell for $1, let me know in the comments. That would be interesting for me. I got my mother 2 cans of peaches. That's the only mother shopping I did, because I don't remember if Nancy found the big cans the last time, so I wanted to make sure to grab them while they had them. So there's those 2 things. Is this it? I got 2 gigantic Oxy Ultra Deluxe Liquid Dish Soap. Refreshing grapefruit. I just know my mother's going to love that it's pink. So I got 2 like this. Oh, and then I got, which I need, not for laundry, but I like to have these baskets for fabric. So I got 2 clothes baskets, $1 each. I got a purple one and a blue one. And sometimes if I have certain projects going on, or I put certain fabrics together that need to be cut into fat quarters or whatever, I just like a basket to put that in. So I guess that is it. That looks like it's it. I have to rebag. Hang on. I also looked at the manila envelopes because I wanted to see how many there were per pack, and I thought it was 6, and there is. So I need to look online to see what I can get for a good deal on those. And I like to buy a box of 100. They certainly don't have that here at Dollar Tree, but I was just curious to see how many were in the envelope for $1. I guess that's it for Dollar Tree talk. Do I dare talk about anything else? Do I dare? Was it just yesterday that I talked about the clothing rack that I have decided to return? You don't know how many comments I got about, oh, just keep it, just put it in the other room, just put it in the garage, just put it in the basement. That's the whole thing that I don't want to do. That was the whole point of my stress. I don't want to hoard that clothing rack if I absolutely don't need it, and I don't have room for the first one as it is, but it's at least coming in useful. I can hang the clothing. I don't need another one because it's just going to be too much, and I'm not just putting it aside in case I need it later. That's how a hoarder thinks. Around the clock. I can't take a fucking rubber band and throw it away. It can be fucking broken, and I'll tie a knot because I might need it later. Someday, one of these days. My father used to put nails in the wall in the garage to hang up broken and tied rubber bands. And oh my God, bread ties. When bread ties came into the world, there was a piece of wire in there. He could strip that wire and use that fucking wire for something. So I don't want to do that. I really, seriously, I have enough of an issue with the stuff that I have. it pains me to think about it, and I don't want to leave that behind like my father's hoarding was left for me. And I just don't want anything else new in the house. And the issue I have with returning it isn't so much the actual returning it. It's that I developed a love for the clothing rack, and it's something that I feel like I must have, and it's necessary, and that's what I want to get away from. So let me return it, and I will let you know when I do. I'm going to put it back in the box and return it, and I will try very hard not to regret for the rest of my life that I didn't keep that clothes rack, because who knows, in 30 years from now I might say, I could have used that clothes rack now, why did I return it? Because I do that with things that I sold in yard sales back in the 80s. I still regret some of the sales, some of the things I let go of. Oh, it's just sick. I was just really surprised at how many of you encouraged me to keep it. I thought, if anything, you guys would be like, you can let it go, Darlene, let it go. It seems to be a popular phrase, except for when I actually wanted to fucking hear it. Okay, I'm getting back into danger zone now. So there was that, and I know I try hard not to talk about personal stuff on this channel anymore, but I'm going through something right now, and I feel like I'm leading a double life. I have Patreon, where I'm trying very hard to feel free to just be me, but I'm struggling with that too, because I'm always taking a chance when I talk about controversial things, and it's to the point where I have to make a decision. Do I just shut my mouth and just do, you know, things that are, you know, just what that I find mundane, ordinary? I don't know, I guess I can go with ordinary. Or do I continue to just try to be me and try to discover where that takes me in the end? It's hard, because I have a personal selfishness that wants to just be able to do what I feel like doing, but then there's also the business side of me that knows I do have to make some wise choices. Or, you know what another option is? I could just say that I'll move on to another business. Just do videos for selfish reasons on Patreon or here, and find another way to make money. I can always do that too. I'm not trapped by the whole money thing, like, oh, but I'm earning, over $1,000 a month on YouTube, and, I'm getting up there with Patreon. That's nice, but it doesn't determine what I do. I can make money any way I want. I've always been good at that. So I have a lot of thinking to do, and I'm almost to the point where I wish I could have a whole different audience in Patreon. I'm not saying different than what I have, but I feel like I shouldn't try to get my regular YouTube audience inside Patreon, because I think that it's better off to leave those who like me on regular YouTube. Leave all you guys right there in YouTube. I'd like to find another way to get patrons from, pluck them from another audience of some kind, because, a lot of people who love me or just appreciate my videos for whatever reason, you go over to Patreon and you're like, what the fuck? And then you go on to tell me how you were so wrong to love me, because you had no clue that I had different thoughts and ideas than maybe you do, and you don't like it. You don't like seeing that side of me, and it's just me. It's just me. You loved me, didn't you? But I guess it wasn't unconditional love. I'm doing it again. I'm going too far with this. It's just because what made that noise? I heard a little popping noise and did not like that. I'm just coming to an area in my life where I'm starting to feel more free, and I will tell you guys why. Because in my personal life, I have found some freedom. I have help from my mother. You don't know how that has absolutely changed me. So I'm more free now to experiment with other things. And since I'm not so constantly always involved with that at home, it's giving me a chance to take chances elsewhere. Because, you know, when we take chances, we're always going to come across things that make us, you know, want to fucking knock us down. And I'm okay with that as long as I'm, you know, well rested enough to handle it. So sometimes I don't feel like I can handle it, but for the most part, I can. So it's really a new chapter in my life. I have found some freedom, and I'm just going with it. And I always say that I'm going to make tons of mistakes along the way. I will hurt people, piss people off, and I know that my humor is not always taken as humorous by many, and I understand all that, but all those things that I talk about are important to me. It's important to me to get things out and to not just let somebody tell me something and me not reply to it in my way, in my own way. And it's exciting. I'm excited about it all, but I know that it can damage my business. It can. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm starting to make the decision that I really want to maybe find some other way to have my income come in, and let YouTube just be totally about being selfish in my personal life. And I should say, you know, Patreon. That's the part that I, you know, am more free to talk the way I want. All right, I'm gonna go home now. Do you know that it is 4:35 and I haven't eaten yet today at all? I just was busy. We had an appointment, that an assessment in the house, and then Nancy came, and I already recorded for patrons today because I felt like I didn't lose enough of them yesterday. Recorded with the attempt to do some damage control, and I think I just went off on a tangent and did more damage just by being me. Just by being me. My thoughts, my ideas, and just being me makes people run, and that's a very weird thing to live with. It's weird to put yourself out there and know you're so disliked. But you know, I'm used to that. I was fucking disliked my whole life by my own mother, seems to me. So I'm okay with it all. I am. All right, end of therapy. I will be back with more soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.